Legacy in Motion is brought to you by BinaPavo, your sustainability, our business. Sunway Business School, fortune favors the prepared mind.
Welcome to Legacy in Motion. I am Dr. Jesrina.
And I'm Dr. Leilanie, and today we have a very special guest, Nik Haikal Nik Haidi, Executive Director of Vista Summerose, and office is based in Nampang, right? Generation 2 of the family business. So Haikal, perhaps you can introduce yourself and share your journey with Vista Summerose, and what's the plan that you have in continuing your family legacy?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Nik Haikal. I'm a second gen of Vista Summerose. Vista Summerose was established in 2006, but then we've been in business for the past almost 40 years now. It's been established by my late mother, Datina Nizam, and my father, Datuk Nik Haidi. They've been in the parking industry, as I said, close to 40 years already. I came about the business, I think I would say that I was born into it. Basically, when you start to grow up, by 6-7 years old, you start to see your parents going on the street, looking into parking bays, installation of terminals, and painting the parking bays. So you start to follow them, up till 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And slowly, when I start to grow older, I start to get involved, start to repairing the terminals, repairing the machines, cleaning up the terminals, and from then on, every school holiday you start to work with your parents. As I turned 16 or 17, after SPM, my dad says, "You want to work?" "Yeah, sure, I want to work." So at that point in time, we have a project in Bangunan Mas. I think it was Bangunan Mas in KL.
Jalan Sultan Ismail.
Yes,
wow.
Yeah, and we had a parking there, the indoor parking. So the thing that my dad and my mom then told me that the shift starts at 6 o'clock in the morning. So at 17 years old, being 17 years old lah, nak bangun, you have to wake up at 4, you have to leave the home by 5. So I was there by 5:30. I was there setting up the booth, setting up everything. Of course, I have a senior waiting for me also there. But then, the experience goes through. That was the first experience, of working experience that I had. And after that, became a technician, riding my own car, going from terminals to terminals, repairing the machines when we got DBKL at the point of time. And then I went into management. I will work in accounts, belajar kira OT, macam kira OT. I think I was 20 years old. Belajar kira OT, and then a bit of human resource and how to handle the technician punya discipline matters and everything. So at that point in time, kita dah start diploma. I already studied in university, so we have some knowledge sikit lah. And by the time I did my degree in Unirazak, finished my study, I went for my masters in University of Southampton in UK. Came back. That's where my dad and my mom decided, okay, since you already have this operational punya experience in parking, you come into management, then people cannot tipu you because you already know from the ground up. You have this experience. So Alhamdulillah, I'm already here where I have that part of experience on the operational side, I have a bit on the management side, and now it's a bit more on the building up the vision and mission and the long-term goals of the company lah.
So, hearing that you were a 16, 17-year-old boy waking up at 4:35 in the morning, that really shows a lot of discipline. So, for you to start at that age, right, it also shows a bit of passion towards the business itself. So, coming to that, I just wanted to understand, how would you describe the core values that defines Vista Summerose, and how do you uphold them personally?
Well, my parents, the way they, there's no we're not the the kind of conglomerate where these are the set of goals, that ethos that we live by. It's just that, as I mentioned just now, it's like this experience comes by when I was 7 years old. I didn't do my homework or something like that, and my mom was really angry. And there was like a whiteboard in my room, and she straight away, to be a good person, you have to be 3 things. Number 1 is sincere. Number 2 is honest, jujur. And number 3, you have to be bertanggungjawab, responsible. So I don't know why, out of all the time, from throughout my life, and out of all the time that she scolded me, these are the 3 things that really resonate or really stuck in my head. So, and when it stuck in your head, it becomes somehow embedded within you. And so even when you're 17 or 18, or even now I'm 36 years old, somehow these 3 things resonate with you. And wherever you belajar ke, whether you're studying, whether you're working, somehow this thing stuck with you. So the only difference is when I was starting to work with my parents full time, you start to remember these 3 things, and you have to do these 3 things. But it's not really these 3 things. You have to evolve within these 3 things. So instead of being ikhlas, sincere, so you have to be truthful when you do work. Be truthful, be trustworthy. So you start to adapt within your work. When she says you have to be jujur, you have to be accountable in your work. Whatever you do, you have to be accountable to it, whether to your customers, to your staff, anything. So when she says you have to be responsible, you have to be committed to what you do. So you start to adapt, not new words, but then in a different way, in a broader sense. So this is the core values that I still try. It's very simple. There's 3 words, but then it's the 3 things that until now I still have to learn, because the context is getting bigger and bigger and broader.
Okay. Wow. Well, Nik, I've known you for, I don't know, maybe 15 years, right?
Dari zaman bujang.
Masa zaman bujang sampailah kahwin dah ada anak. And well, I never knew about these 3 core values of what your mother has passed on to you: sincere, honesty, and being responsible. But the fact that I've known you for more than 15 years, I think I can vouch, that I can see these qualities in you.
Alhamdulillah, thank you, doctor.
The fact that I taught you before, and in class, in class, I think I can see these values that he has in terms of what he does, what he says, the teamwork that he does in class, and things like that. So it's a really nice. Heartwarming thing to understand, how this was embedded into you from your parents. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. In terms of Vista Summerose, your core business is on parking, and if you look into your responsibility today as the executive director, how do you see what the market is today, the challenges that you face? How do you differentiate between Vista Summerose with other companies similar to yours?
So basically, again, when I say that we are almost in the market for the past 40 years already, those are the things that I try to leverage on when we do business. It's not just because we're 40 years in the market, but we have done nothing else other than parking itself, whether it's indoor parking, on-street parking, or off-street parking. It's just parking. But what really differentiates is that in the market itself, there's 2 types of, I would say, players lah. One is a system provider. They provide the system and they're done. And then there's also an operator. So they use someone else's system and they operate the parking itself. So in my case is that we combine those 2. We are the parking operator, and also we use our own system. And also I add on a little bit more is the heritage behind it, is the experience that we have for the past 40 years behind it. So that is the Ajinomoto lah in our recipe. It's an extra push, an extra thing that we can have other than whatever we have in the market right now. So by having these 3 components in our business itself, it's not just when you talk about technology, sometimes people will say, technology 1 + 1 = 2, but then there's no human side of the technology that people embedded inside the business. So when we have experience in the formula itself itself, it puts the human touch inside technology that we try to bring into the business. So I would say the heritage plus the innovation that we put into the business that differentiates us in the market. Yeah.
And just to continue on a little bit more,
Yeah.
what are some of the innovations? Because
Yeah.
you talked about heritage and
Yeah.
innovation. So maybe you can share some of the experiences or the stories that you
Yeah,
have, that
sure.
strategic decisions that you have made,
Yeah.
that you personally have introduced since you stepped in
Yeah.
as the executive director.
Okay, so I wouldn't want to claim, but when I was studying in Unirazak last time, last 2 semester we have this subject called entrepreneurship, that we have to do our own business. So being this is like what 2011, 2010 or 2012, somewhere around there. I can't really remember. So one of the things that my mom was really into providing terminals. You put coins, you get time for your parking. So we went, and then at the point in time during semester, that one we call it Sem 1, was it? The subject I can't remember, doctor. But then we have to come up with ideas. Ideas that, okay, in that class it was, I wouldn't say it was divided, but it was whether it's you have to come up with a new business or you want to continue and value add to your current family business.
Right.
All right.
That's interesting.
So I was in this category, the category where I want to innovate whatever my family is having right now. So we went at the point in time. We went to our Europe trip, just a normal family trip, and then in one of the trip, it was in Sweden, and then this guy was paying his parking. They just use SMS. I was like, oh, you can pay parking through phone? It's like, yeah, we've been doing this for the past 2-3 years. It's quite new. It's like, oh, okay. We came back from the Europe trip. I told my mom, told my dad that, I think I want to do that. I just want to pay parking with your phone. About time 2, it was no apps, nothing. It was just paying through SMS, like 32999, those kind of numbers.
Right.
SMS parking,
Yeah,
those kind of thing. So it's like, I want to do that. It's like, okay, that's a good idea. I have some friends, I have some engineer friends that can do that lah. They kata. So I went and pitched to my lecturer, Dr. Leilanie herself. And he said, okay. And then she guided me through on the process on how to build the idea. So at the same time, because I want it to be serious, it's not just to pass marks, I just want it to be serious. I told my mom, and my mom introduced me to some engineers, to some friends of hers, my dad. So we had a mock-up, and the final presentation for the first semester, I did that and showed that. It was in for this one council in Putrajaya. Putrajaya lah, nak suruh apa lagi kan. Putrajaya. It was just a mock-up. So we started off SMS, put ni for 1 hour. Okay, dapat. And then this engineer told me, kata, Haikal, the future is apps, The future is apps. So how about we try to, might as well we move towards apps, even though now it's not really popular yet, but then there's going to be a big thing after this. So apps, sure. Apps tu macam mana? At that point in time, everybody was using Blackberry.
Blackberry.
Sorry, Blackberry.
Yeah, Blackberry.
Not blueberry cheesecake.
No.
Blackberry.
Yeah. And people said, kita pakai BBM tu. You bayangkan BBM tapi for bayar parking. I said, oh, okay, that's interesting. Let's move towards there lah. So we moved towards there. And then I presented again. I got an A for that. Thank you.
Wow,
Well deserving.
Well
deserving.
Yeah. So my mom continued with the idea. So I went to study my masters. My mom continued the idea with the engineers.
Right.
The engineers stopped working from this one particular big company because he wants to pursue this idea.
Wow.
And this idea we brought into when we got DBKL at the point in time in 2014 or 15. We got DBKL. That was the first apps being used in the council all over Malaysia. I don't want to mention any names, but then so that's one of the innovation that I would say I brought into the company, and now from that particular apps move towards now I think there's like many apps in Malaysia. So 2012, 2013 was the first. I think maybe at the point in time maybe there are apps being used in the market, but then I would say that was the one being used widely. It was in the BKL, and everybody was like, oh, bayar parking pakai apps. So yeah, I would say that that was one of the biggest innovation that I try to, I mean, I would not have tried to the one that I brought into the company .
And I think that is fantastic, especially at that point of time when we do, like now we have all these apps, right? And at that point of time that we didn't have these apps, so to do that at that point is actually fantastic. And you did it as a student. That's even more like enlightening, I would say, in that sense. So that's fantastic.
So Haikal, again, you brought me down memory lane together with you. So I'm so glad to hear that it worked very well for you, and it was a success on your part, at your company. Now, if we look at what you did back then in 2012, plus minus, with that new innovation. So now we are in 2025. What are some of the things that you are already looking forward to implementing, especially, there's so many competition right now. Technology is so advanced with IoT, with AI and whatnot, So how do you continue to innovate, be future ready, not just in terms of technology, but in terms of your people, your people, as well as your family? How do you be future ready?
So there's 3 parts that I can see there. One is for future ready for the business itself, and one is the internal part of my staff, and also the third part is with my family . For the business itself, like our main customers, there's 2 types of customers that we have . Satu is the council, because we have to work with the council itself, and also other operators in the market. This is new. Working together with other operators in the market is something new for us working together with them. But mainly before this, for the past 40 years, my parents have been working with councils, 120 plus councils, if I'm not mistaken, all over Malaysia. So another part is the customer itself users like all of us. So before this, my parents is very, how would you say, pragmatic about it. They are working towards my customer is just a council. I just have to make sure my customer is happy, the councils are happy, we're good. But then in moving forward, I'm trying to this is something that has been discussed so many times, and I'm trying to make my parents understand, my late mother and my father try to understand, is that moving forward we can't move alone. Collaboration is very important, and how the technology is going to be, technology moving is very fast. They move very fast. You've been, you rasa you dah canggih, you're using this. Next thing you know, a couple of days later, a couple of months later, new technology is coming up. But in parking, the technology is not that fast. It's a matter of how you do it and how you use it. So now the new thing in technology now is AI. Everybody wants to use AI. And talking to Dr. Mohd just now, talking about drones. This is one thing that we try to look into. We are the first one use the LPR camera in Malaysia, for your information, Dr. Jess. LPR camera meaning nowadays it's so normal to go into a parking, they capture your plate number. We've been using that since 2012, and we are the only one who've been using it to put it on the car, the one that people use it in US, the police car. So we use it for parking. So now we are looking into drones to detect whether you have paid your parking, not paid your parking, or maybe you have summonses have not paid to the councils. So we are embedding it into our business right now, maybe using drones. So instead of using a car and a driver yang you just drones going through all the commercial areas, scanning all the plate numbers whether they paid or not paid, which is something public doesn't like lah. So kita lagi it's easy to detect kan. To future-proof our business is that to understand our the innovation that we're trying to embed it is trying to understand that the councils want to save costs. They want the latest technology, but at the same time they want to save costs. By having this technology that we have, our own R&D team, we are moving towards there right now. Other than the terminals, before this you are only paying your parkings, but also now you can pay parking, summonses, you can buy tickets, you can buy top-ups, you can pay your bills there on our terminals, other than just paying your parkings. So sebab orang kata, bayar parking pakai apps je senang, but then that particular kiosk that we're trying to develop right now is a multi-purpose kiosk that you can pay anything. Anything. So that's another thing, another too. for our staff itself, that now we are trying to send them for trainings to prepare for the future. You want to put EI blah 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 semua ni tadi boleh, but then it's not going to be good enough if your staff don't know how to handle.
Exactly.
It's like putting a 7-year-old on a Ferrari. they wouldn't know how to use it. So I'm trying to empower my staff. And another thing is that I'm trying to shift my staff because they're so used to the, I wouldn't say always, the traditional way of management where the boss tell them what to do, they just do it. Now I'm trying to empowering them on decision making and be responsible of their decision making. So if you have an idea, it's okay, let's do it. We have small projects for you to try your idea. If it's a success, then we can try to expand it and brought it outside. So if it fails, we fail together. If we success together lah. And then I credit it to you lah because you come up with the idea. I'm trying to bring it from that kind of management to this kind of management right now. And the reason why I have to move towards this kind of management is more or less because of the generation that we're in lah.
Yes.
I'm 36 years old. I noticed that my generation is somewhere in between the older generation and the Gen Z. Gen Z now, Gen Z. This kind of the Gen Z kind of thinking is totally different from the traditional one. So I've become this person in the middle that have to connect between these two. Yes. So yeah, and my family, as I said, we are looking into having a family constitution to structure our succession plan, to structure who can get involved with the business and everything semua. So having a family constitution seems like to be the best way of how we need to manage our family business lah. And hearing from some of the thoughts, people who already have their family constitution is like, this is what we need. This is the one that we need right now. And it's easier because the family that involved in the business is not that many right now. But then when we have our own children, nanti ada cucu lagi, it's going to be more complex. So at least we have the base right now.
Correct. Yeah. How many siblings do you have?
I have 4. I'm the second one. My eldest is OKU lah, memang full time. Dia memang OKU lah. So I have 2 youngest brother. My younger brother, the one ni Hakim, is from Unirazal also. He's into finance and technical, and he's handling the R&D part.
Right.
Me and my youngest brother, we are into marketing.
Right.
Being that my youngest brother is into marketing, I'm more into marketing and sales.
Right.
Helping in the marketing and sales. But
So all the 3 brothers are now in the business.
Yes, we are all in the business right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
with the guidance from my dad.
Yes, with your dad. Okay. All right. Wonderful. So Haikal, earlier on you mentioned about your being practically sandwiched between the old generation and the Gen Z.
Yeah.
As you are experiencing this, right, and also looking back at, from when you started back in, since you were young, 17 years old. I'm sure there are some challenges that you face in terms of, looking at how things are being done traditionally and how things are being done, in a more advanced manner, right? Yeah. So you being sandwiched in the middle, how do you balance this challenge?
So before I was being sandwiched between these 2 generations, I was part of the younger generation. Right. I was younger. I would say I was closest to this generation because I've been through that. I'm 36 now. They're maybe like 25, 30. So I'm closer to this generation, understanding that what they're going through right now lah. So among the difficulties that I noticed when I was going through that stage is that I wouldn't say ego lah, but then you're so fired up, you're young, you have this idea, darah muda. You're very eager to prove yourself. You're very eager to I have these ideas and everything. But at the same time, at that point in time, tak perasan lah. But then the older generation, I mean my dad, my parents, they have this experience. They've been through all this thing, all these difficulties. So the turning point that I noticed is that when my mom passed away, there's a lot of issues, of course, among the family because my mom, we have 4 brothers, and my mom, and then I have my father, And then my mom being the only lady in the house,
Right.
controlling this darah muda, this orang kata barbado of masculinity in the house. So but then I don't know. I went to the office and then I noticed at my mom's table, at my mom's cabinet right behind her, there's like this big stack of file. And when you look into the file, it's like very old cut out of surat khabar lama tau. And it's all about parking as early as end of 80s until the early of 2010 like that. Okay. So I just kita flip through it and then you just go through and then you start to notice that no wonder your parents is like that, no wonder your parents is like don't want to change ke ataupun difficult to change ke, difficult to accept ni, because they know when you start to notice all these things, the ideas that you have is been there for the past 20 years. Nak pakai card, nak bayar pakai apps, right? This idea has been there for so many years that they know that takkan jadi. So you start to wonder, is this the reason why they say that any new technology, new ideas, it wouldn't go through, because they know, they've seen it, they went through it, everything semua, and this idea wouldn't stay for that long. So and then when you go through that and then you start to understand, this is how they've been there in the market for so long. Their understanding of the market of the market tu memang sangat solid, that it's going to be quite difficult for them to change ataupun to accept any new ideas. So being the son or the second generation, you have this bukan kata Trojan horse, tapi macam you have a way into their mind, into their heart of understanding all these things. So then you start to macam okay, tak apalah, you start to understand if your father is being strict or being adamant about an idea of his way of ni, you have to understand them, kenapa dia macam tu. And then you have to find another way lah. You have to prove to them on why you need to do it this way. You have to prove it to them first. So when you dah tahu tu, and then you start to understand the difficulties, you have to understand the difficulties, and you understand that the process has to be not just one way. You have to use multiple ways of making them understand. And then they start to notice that their children yang dulu 7, 8 years old, these children that you look at you as a children before this, their son or their children, the second generation, is actually growing up not just as a son but also as a employee of the company. And when they start to trust you, then barulah they start to give you some decision making punya things for you to do. And if you make the right decision, not right decision, it's about a maturity of making that decision. They can see that maturity, then they start to understand. Okay, this whole process now I have to convey it to my brothers, the younger generation. When you have meetings can be done over tea in the evening kat rumah ayah, macam tu saja. So what it turns out to be a normal hanging out with the family turns into a very heated discussion or meeting kat rumah ayah, something like that. So being in my position, I have to navigate for them both sides to understand why why my brother wants this and why my father wants this. I have to navigate on to sometimes dah habis discussion, I have to have a different discussion. Okay, Hakim said macam ni, I think I understand kenapa dia macam ni. And then I have to go to my brother, Hakim, Haziq, we have to do this ni sebab ayah kena macam semua. Give that a couple of days, then they start to understand, they can meet in the middle.
Right.
So that's where yang kata how I navigate to between these two parties lah.
Correct. Yeah. Okay.
It's a long story, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's really nice to understand, how you can navigate. Yeah, correct.
I think that the fact that you are the middle person trying to find peace and balance, and I do think that in every family business there must be that one person who's that I would say pillar of peace, that will be navigating the whole situation, because we're talking about legacy, right? In order, you talked about the family constitution, but even before the family constitution is there must be this person who is having that passion towards let's get this done, let's do it peacefully.
Do it peacefully.
Correct. So just thinking about our audience and how we can share some of your experience and knowledge. especially for the next generation, right? Because when you spoke about how you're looking at the next generation and you being Sandwich as well, I think that the way of your leadership is very dynamic.
Yeah.
Also because you are Sandwich. When
Yeah.
you are Sandwich, you kind of, I know a little bit here, I know a little bit
Yeah.
there, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, what, in your opinion, what is the values that the next generation leaders should have?
Yeah. So I was thinking about it the other day. I mean, like the things that, in order for me to answer this kind of question, I really need to the most important thing is to understand myself.
Yeah.
And I understand the character that I have. I mean, the strength that I have. And also the weaknesses that I have, so that I know how to maneuver around my weaknesses.
Right.
So among the characteristics that I noticed that I have, and I think next generation, my thoughts that the next generation should have is, number one is that adaptability. So you need to really adapt. When you say adaptability, is that it's not just with the market itself, to understand the market, to understand what the needs of the markets and everything, but also to adapt in a situation where you have a family and a business put in under one roof.
Yeah.
So to adapt to understand between that, okay, when we go into a meeting, we discuss, we argue, but outside the meeting, we are back to, you're my father, you're my brother, you're my sister, you're my mom. So you need to understand that we have to have that sense of professionalism, that when you go into a meeting, when you discuss about work, it's 100% only about work. Has nothing to do with feelings, has nothing to do with, it's only facts and figures inside the meetings. When you go outside, we hug, we kiss each other, we embrace each other. When we talk about work, it's just work. So we need to adapt and to understand that everybody, the older generation, the first gen, the second gen, the third gen, whoever in the business, we need to understand when it comes to 9 to 5, we work. We have to respect the order, we have to respect the bureaucracy that we have in the office. We have to respect that. And then another thing is that we need to be resilient. Being resilient doesn't mean you have to be hard-hit, degil, tak nak dengar cakap. Being resilient is that you know this is what you need for the company, but then the only difficulty that you have is the first gen not accepting it, ataupun the first gen on the board of directors doesn't accept it yet. So you need to find ways on how to make sure that they accept the idea, and how you present it doesn't have to be just because you're the son or the daughter of the company doesn't mean that you are entitled to it.
Right.
You need to prove yourself. So being resilient is part of being a good leader as well. Another thing is that a purpose-driven. You have to have that purpose-driven leadership. So as I said before, the first gen is very pragmatic. They as long as it's practical, it's done. But being a purpose-driven, that you need to have this kind of leadership, that you need to convey why this has to happen, and why this has to happen. Even though another thing is that when you convey that message on the purpose of why you have to do this, the degree on how much you share with your staff or with your family, it also differentiates. Sometimes you understand, okay, the goal is like 10 steps away, but for the time being, in order for them to understand this, at least you have to share 3 or 4 steps first.
Right.
When we reach there, share another 3 more 4 steps. And then when we reach there, and then finish off until the 10th step. It takes some time, but as we said just now, it keeps the peace lah. It keeps everyone at peace. It keeps everyone kata, tak terkejut with the changes. Everybody can understand, oh, this is why. Yeah.
So it's also making small changes, one step
small
at
changes.
a time.
Yeah.
And I think the first point was more on the boundaries between work and family.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. So, Haikal, I'd like to talk about you being very disciplined, and I say that because other than the fact that you say, along the way you learn to adapt, you are resilient, your leadership style is very purpose driven, but I want to add that you're also very disciplined. And the reason why I say this is because I see that you run, right, and you enter competitions, right? Competitions. You it's short of being an Iron Man lah, kan? Yeah, and I believe soon you're going to be an Iron Man. Are you practicing for that?
I hope so. I will come to that stage. Yeah.
Right. So perhaps you can share with us, being disciplined, having to continuously be strong because you run that 20 kilometers and you swim and you bike and whatnot. How does this help you in terms of your leadership style? Yes.
That one, to be honest, when I run or when I do any exercise, I shut off my mind. I shut off my mind. When you talk, there's two things. When you say self-discipline, discipline just now too, I always convey it into two parts. One is self-discipline and self-control. When I have my own self-discipline, discipline is something very, very difficult to come to me. Yep. When I was a kid, I'm a very naughty person. I'm a very naughty kid. I don't listen to people. Naughty kid lah. Tak dengar cakap semua kan.
Well, they say naughty kids are intelligent kids.
Alhamdulillah, I hope so. I hope so. Yeah. But when I first started running, the philosophy behind running itself, because I wanted to lose weight, Dr. Jess. I wanted to lose weight. I was, if Dr. Leilanie remembers, I was quite big. 123 kilos. I was really big. Yeah. And then I started to run. At that point in time, I love doing exercises, but I'm still big. And then when I started to run, when you run, the first step that you take, you wear your shoes and everything. Okay, you start your clock and you started to run. The philosophy behind running that I try to tell myself lah. I don't know about others, but I try to tell myself is that when I take the first step, it doesn't stop until it finish. I aim for 5 km, I do 5 km. If I aim for 10 km, I do. So fast or slow, I don't stop.
Right.
I don't stop, and I only stop when I finish whatever I'm trying to reach. So when I try to portray that thing into work, into family business, or my own business, my family business, it's the same thing. Whatever I do, I try to. The first step is going to be difficult. Nak bangun pagi, nak lari. It's difficult.
Yes.
Anybody who wants to exercise is very difficult, but that's already a big leap for you to take. So when you take the first step, whatever you do, don't stop, fast or slow, you have to finish. So that same philosophy, I try to do it in my work also, and also the discipline. Okay, now I already have this program. Okay, I said within this month, the first week of the month, I'm going to do this, second this, and third this, and fourth this. So the ability to execute each of those exercises, each of those training plan that you have, also portrays on the bigger picture in your work also. So okay, first week kita nak buat ni in our office. Okay, let's say first week, second week, and then you have to wait for the result. You have to, as anybody would say, trust the process. By the end of a period, you're gonna have this result. Even if you don't get this result, at least you have to appreciate the positive outcome that you have for the past when you go through the process. So and self-control meaning that when you say blueberry, I remember secret recipe pula.
Right,
secret recipe, ingat cheesecake dia pula. So you can indulge on those kind of thing once a week, but then once a week, and that self-control of okay, one piece of cake once a week. Okay, one piece of cake lah. So the cake becomes much more sweeter knowing that you did all of this and you you reward yourself with this piece of cake. So again, when you go back to work, you sacrifice all those things. You sacrifice your sleep. You sleep at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You wake up at 6 o'clock to exercise. Walaupun tak cukup rehat and everything. You sacrifice all those things. By the end of the period, what are you going to get? You get good result. You can run 20 kilometers at a certain period of time. You can do this exercise with whatever you plan. So those kind of success also try to reflect back in your work. And this kind of thing, this kind of mindset only happens to me when I started. When I run 20 ke 30 whatever kilometers I run, I don't hear my headphone. I try to be engaged with my surroundings. The only reason is because that's the only time that I can really engage with my surrounding. And when you engage, you start to have your own thoughts. You can plan better. You can just now I remembered in the meeting we discussed about this. Maybe we can have this while running, while exercising. So that's how it reflects in my work actually.
I totally resonate with you because I also do quite a bit of exercise, and I always feel like when I have a problem, after my exercise, I'm like, I found a solution.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm
betul.
like, how is it? It's so odd that, when I go for exercise, right after that, I found my solution. And also, along with that comes that, I feel better, I feel peace now. Macam,
It's endorphin, I guess.
It's like, how come I didn't think about it before?
Kan?
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Sometimes the solution is so simple. It's like, because I always think that, Dr. Jess, is that maybe because when you're in that situation, you're so like consumed by it that you block your mind for any other possible solution or possible outcome. So when you step out and you do something else, you disengage with that situation, that problem, you jadi free. You free yourself, and then suddenly like, tu je ke? The problem was that je ke? The solution is so simple. So I think that maybe because of that.
I mean that disconnect for that 1 hour or so,
betul.
right? And also, I guess like what you say, endorphins, and your body is just going through the changes, sweating it out. So it makes a lot of difference. So we have one more question,
Sure.
which is, what is the advice that you would give to the next gen entrepreneurs, right, in honoring their family legacy?
Another, we don't know about other families, but for my family is that one thing that I try to embed it in my family and try to make my brothers understand is that we need to preserve the legacy that our parents left. Losing my mother in 2022 to cancer at that point of time really put things into perspective, knowing that whatever good things that you're doing right now, I try to feel that, this is because what my parents have taught me. So I'm trying to preserve that. But then preserving is not enough. You have to really expand from what they have. So they leave you, they leave you a very good core value that we discussed just now. So expand it and try to teach other people also. So that's how you honor your parents. And then another thing is that there's nothing wrong of being traditional, but also modern at the same time.
Yes.
So try to blend in the traditional and the modern in a very, in a very beautiful way, I would say. And then another thing is to always respect the past, but never be scared. Have the courage to move towards the future. That's the three things I would say, the main things that I can really master right now. Because one thing that sometimes the second gen becomes too discouraged. They become afraid to move forward. So they just do whatever their parents have, and next thing you know, the business finishes off at the second gen, and next thing you know, the second gen start to work with something else. Habis gen tu saja. I remember one of the subject was STEP, was it, madam? Doctor?
Yeah, STEP.
Oh, STEP, yeah.
The successful transgenerational entrepreneurship practices.
Yes, yeah. See, remember, That's dapat E.
Told you he's a good student.
Because in one of the STEP studies that Dr. Leilanie had showed us last time was, most of the family businesses in Malaysia finishes off at second generation. It's very sad to hear that. And being the second generation itself, you want to make sure that we don't want to stop at second gen. And as compared to the Japanese, Koreans, they have like 30, 40 generations. Like, whoa, how can they go through all the generations? So I want to make sure that, but then at the same time, when you look at the 30th, 40th generation, they still preserve whatever being taught from the first generation itself. So I'm trying to have that kind of perseverance in the family business to put into into the family business. So just to sum it up, first is to respect the past and don't be scared. Have the courage to move towards the future. Blend in the traditional and the modernity that you have. We're living in a modern world, but don't dismiss the tradition and the traditional way of doing things. Don't dismiss that straight away. And lastly is to preserve the legacy lah. That's how you honor your parents, or honor your parents or ancestors that you have lah.
I think it's very beautifully said. Like you want the heritage to continue. The heritage to continue. So
maybe Jess, if I can have one last question.
Yes,
yeah,
please.
one more. Even though yours was the last.
last.
Yeah, last of the last. So Haikal, on a personal level, what would be your aspiration? Not just for you and your family, but But looking into what Vista Summerose can do in the next 50 years or 100 years.
100 years, So my aspiration is that Vista would grow from parking to a company that actually become a standard in the global sense. Become standard. This is how parking should be managed. This is how it's actually not parking itself lah. We are looking into this new thing. It's not a new thing. It's curb management. Curb management is just kaki lima, how you manage curbs, because that 10 by 10 feet punya luas tu has to be shared by a lot of people. So I foresee that, I hope that in 50, 100 years times that Vista is moving towards from parking to curb management to become a global standard of how you manage all these things together. And in not just into in terms of curb or curb management or parking itself, but then a standard where this is how a family business should be run. This is how beautifully family and business comes together in 500, even 50 or 100 years times. So hoping that my son and daughters, generation to come, that they come and see that this is how it started, and hoping that they hold on to this legacy throughout this whole years going forward.
Okay.
All right.
So before I pass it back to you, Jess, I just want to reiterate what Haikal was saying, and because I find that in this world right now, people are just lacking in terms of love, sincerity, honesty, and definitely being responsible. So I just want to go back and stamp the family values that your parents have, inculcated into your generation and the future generation. So go ahead, Jess.
Sure. So thank you for watching Legacy in Motion today, and I would like to remind everyone to be ikhlas, jujur and bertanggungjawab, which is sincere, trustworthy and responsible. Thank you.
So this is Legacy in Motion.